What's going on, guys? Warmoose Eternal here, and I'm going to tell you guys today right now the Wish Keeper sucks. Okay, here's a clip of video. Guess what? I'm going to tell you guys today why the Wish Keeper is one of my now personal favorite bows ever added into Destiny 2, and this was added within Season of the Wish. And guys, holy crap, the stuff this bow can do. This thing is one of my top 3 favorite bows. Alright. Now, to get this particular item, you got to go through, you got to run the mission Starcross. But to do that, you got to do all the weekly story stuff, get caught up with that, and then you'll get access to the mission Starcross, grab you a couple friends. It is a little tricky, but you can knock out about 20-30 minutes at the most, maybe. Now, I'm doing all this with no catalyst, nothing. I am using my Strand Titan for this. Just keep that part in mind. Your results will differ, but I am using this to show that it can tie in with Strand builds. Keep that in mind. But first, we're going to take a look at the bow and go over the perks and let you guys see what this thing's all about. Now, as you see, it has Agile Bowstring, Carbon Arrow Shaft, Silk-Bound Slayer for its intrinsic perk. I'm going to let you guys read that because that's going to come into play here in a little bit. Heavy Grip, and Snare Weaver. Precision hits and final blows build energy towards a Snare Weaver arrow that can be fired from the hip. On impact, Snare Weaver arrows create a pattern of traps that suspend nearby targets. Keep that in mind right there, because I'm going to show you guys what this crazy thing can do. Now, as you see in the background gameplay, I'm just running through a lost sector. I was just doing some testing with this, and I wanted you guys to see what this thing does when both those perks are working together, especially that Snare Weaver, because this is phenomenal. Now, I am going to say, though, right offhand, the damage, not too bad. I mean, it's not like, it's going to one-shot bosses or anything, or one-shot champions. It's about average bow damage, I want to say. But what this thing can do for its exotic perk puts it far above a lot of the others. Now, as you see here, I'm going to hip fire it. See those green lines on the ground? And goodbye. That's those patterns I was talking about. You saw those lines drawn on the ground? That's what those patterns can do. Now, rebuild the arrow. Take out that acolyte real quick. And I'm going to stand right in the middle of this group up here. And I want you to watch what happens. I'm going to fire this at the ground, because you can theoretically do this with Banner of War as well. Stand right in the middle of it and evaporate all of them. And you can sit right there, let them come to you, and they ain't going to make it. But as you're noticing as well, when you have that active, that trap active, anything that's killed by those patterns will refill the Snare Weaver arrow. So in theory, you could almost infinitely chain those arrows together. Now tell me that's not a little busted. Alright. It does hold the charge as well if you switch to another weapon. Alright. We're going to come up here to this group of ads, and as you see there also, it's going to conform to whatever surface you hit fire it at. The patterns are going to stretch across there, and it's going to conform to that surface. So definitely keep that part in mind when you go to use that arrow. Depending on where you fired it, it's going to conform to that particular area. If it's a ravine or something, it's going to conform to that and make a trap all the way across there. Or it's going to stick on a wall, anything like that. Just keep that part in mind when you go to use this. Now, as you see here, those scions, they keep splitting and splitting. So I'm just going to keep firing. And as long as I don't hit fire, I will not fire off my Snare Weaver arrow. That's another good little bonus with this bow. But one thing, though, I do have to say that I really like is the fact that you now have a built-in method to suspend unstoppable champions with this bow. Just get your arrow ready. If you see one coming, fire it at him. I'm going to fire it there. Those enemies are suspended to where I can deal with them just like that. What you see what I mean? This is more of like a almost utility exotic, rather than, just straight raw damage exotic. Which I can see this being an absolute power move in Grandmasters, Master Raids, Dungeons, any sort of like high-end activity, especially if you're a solo player. Also, it can tie in with strand builds, as you're seeing with my Titan in the background gameplay. I am using Abundant Leaves, which is an absolute godsend with this bow. Makes this absolutely evil. Now, I did notice a couple of little quirks, I guess you can say, with this bow as I was doing my testing and recording with it. And I got some footage for you guys, but as I did say before, I think this is going to be one of the most useful exotics when it comes to doing Grandmasters, doing raids, dungeons, any sort of like high-end PvE activity. This bow is going to be a staple in that. Because the simple fact you can suspend large groups of adds, get them out of the way to where you don't have to deal with them. Suspend champions to where you don't have to deal with them for a short moment. But your suspend time isn't going to be as long as, say, like if you have an enhanced like shackle grenade and the and the perk to where your suspend animations last longer. So that is something to keep in mind. But I did get some footage of some of the other weird little quirky things that this bow does as well for you guys. Actually, here I'm gonna fire another weapon real quick, and then I still have a snare river charge. Also, this is the arc of it from a distance. Just keep that in mind if you're going to try and use it at a distance. As you see there, the pattern hit the wall. So that's something you definitely got to keep in mind. Now, what I was trying to do here is I was trying to see if I can like chain those snare weaver arrows together. And if you see there, every enemy that's killed by the traps refills the snare weaver arrow. So in theory, if you have a big enough group of adds, you can almost infinitely chain them together. So that's something to definitely keep in your back pocket if you want to ever use that little trick. Also, something I do have to warn you though. Don't try to suspend Thrall and do a finisher because it'll set off others and they'll blow up. And now, as you see here, I was trying to see how many I could suspend in one arrow, just as a test for you guys. And the most I've gotten, because I did this like 5 times, was 8. It was like 6 to 8, sorry. I was looking at my notes wrong. But as you see though, damage-wise, it's about, average bow damage. But overall, this is one of the best exotics in the game, in my personal opinion. Now, you can take it up with me in the comments down below. If you have another one that you think is better than this, by all means, let me know. I always like hearing you guys' opinions. But, with that being said, I know I kind of led you guys in a little bit of a trap at the start. See what I did there? But I do appreciate you guys' time. I'm going to be trying to get back into doing more YouTube videos. If you want, follow me on Twitch to where you can see me live doing stuff like this and be a part of the action as well. And definitely, if you like the content, subscribe. Give me a follow. Give me a follow there on Twitch where you can come hang out with me live. Don't be afraid to do so. Don't be afraid to drop in and say howdy. Alright, but anyway, guys, I appreciate your time as always. You guys mean everything to me. I took a break from YouTube because I just need to focus on getting the Twitch channel up and going, and then I want to come back and get this, built up more. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for your time, your patience, and your time of day. You guys are everything. Thank you so much for what you guys do for me. All right, y'all take care. Y'all stay safe out there. God bless you guys. And I will see you in the next one. And who knows, I might see you out there in Riven's Lair or the Coil. Alright, y'all have a good day.
Like and click those 2 links. And subscribe.